terms of jobs, what kind of jobs can you get in prison? I know you can like do the kitchen stuff.
Prisoners do everything in jail.
Literally everything.
Yeah, that's what people, not a lot of people understand here, but prisoners cook the food, serve the food, clean the landings, paint the landings. The only things we don't do is things that require tools, like, you know, the pipes or like plumbing or whatever. Do you know what I mean? But like a prisoner will have a job, he'll pay about £15 a week, like to clean the landings or whatever. But there's also like workshop jobs. So this is how prisons make money. So they'll get a contract from, let's say, for example, B&Q, like to make the things that they sell. And they'll have a contract with the prison. But the prison will pay you like £15 a week, but they're obviously making a lot more money. That's how they smash it. Do you know what I mean? But people go out there just to get out of their cell. Do you know what I'm saying?
It's mad. You ready to talk, yeah?
Yeah, bro, let's go.
All right, let's get into this. So obviously, last week we just released our 50th episode. So big up everyone that's been with us from the beginning. If you've come in the 49th, 50th episode, if this is your first episode, welcome. I say this every single episode, but this is actually, for me personally, a special episode because I've got someone on the pod who I'm a fan of. They've got a dope channel. Mr. Delinquent Nation, Mr. Prison Diaries. SP, welcome to the podcast, bro.
What's going on, my brother?
You good, yeah?
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me, man.
Anytime. So you saying you good?
I'm good, man. I'm excited for this one.
I'm excited for this one, but just
something different. It's a little bit different to what we normally do, but I'm looking forward to it, man. Definitely.
Exactly. So for those of you who don't know, I'm sure a lot of you would have seen at least one video or a clip on something on social media. But obviously you have your podcast where you talk a little bit about, you know, what the ins and outs of prison are about. So do you want to just touch a little bit on, for the people who don't know what it is your podcast is about?
It's a platform for ex-prisoners and current serving prisoners as well. It's just a way to get the guys their voice out. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
And just to get them heard, like decent guys.
Because I feel like a little bit of the narrative, and you spoke about it on your own platform, is that anyone who goes to prison or is in prison is like a scumbag or a low life or whatever. And it's not like that. No, it's not like that at all. It's not like that. Anyone could go to prison. Anyone could like make mistakes. Exactly. I think it's better that we rehabilitate people rather than just point fingers. And exactly. And as well, we kind of touched off air about how you felt like when you were in prison as well, the like Ross Kemps of these wars and stuff were coming into prison and creating a certain kind of narrative of what prison's actually like, and it's not like that. They'll create a narrative and then they'll benefit off it financially. Exactly. Do you know what I'm saying? And why shouldn't I? Do you know what I mean? And I'll give the realness in it. Definitely. You know what I mean? Yeah, definitely. So. And I feel like as well on your platform, just from watching as a supporter, like people come onto your platform and are just super honest, and it's not like a glorifying thing or man are not saying I'm the wickedest or I did this. They're just literally talking about their lives and how they went through things. But one thing I wanted to ask you is like, what is the day in the life of a prisoner? Like, what's it actually like from the second you get woken up? Because obviously I don't know anything about prison. I've never been to prison. Okay. What's it like? Like from the moment, like how do you wake up? You got alarm clocks. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, what's prison? What's it actually like?
It's just repetitive is a short way of saying it, but it's like you'll be woken up by the noise at a certain time. Like depends on what prison you're in. So if you're in a remand prison, like where you first go when you get nicked, it's usually 23 hours a day. So you get your hour out to either shower, clean your cell, associate, and then I think you have like half an hour exercise or stuff.
So for the people that don't know what a remand period is, just explain to them what that is. Is that just like, so as soon as you get nicked, it's your first day in, so just for those that don't know, because some people ain't gonna have a clue what that means.
So when you get nicked, you're either gonna be bailed in the police station or remanded, which means like usually if it's a more serious crime or if the evidence is like obvious, then they'll remand you. And that means that, you know, you're going to jail until your court case, which is usually about 6 months later. But if you're bailed, then you don't go to prison. But remand is basically where you are until you get sentenced or found guilty. Do you know what I mean? If you bust case, you go home.
Yeah.
If not, you go to a sentence prison.
Okay.
You get a little bit more
And you
time
said it's
out.
23 and 1, so 23 hours you're in your cell, and you only get 1 hour outside of that.
Yeah, in most of the remand prisons that I've been in, I'm not sure if it's changed recently because I haven't been to a remand prison in a long time, innit? Yeah. But like the last one I think was Belmarsh.
Okay.
So that was 23 hours a day,
And how long can you be in a remand prison for? Can it be like a couple of months? Is it 6 months? Can you be in remand prison for a year? Like,
is there like a max or a minimum time that you can be in there?
There isn't, because like some people, like, so basically once you're sentenced and you're a sentenced prisoner, you're supposed to be sent to a sentenced prison. But some people, like at a fair, I don't know how they do it, but I've seen some people in remand prison that's been on the wing for like a few years. Do you know what I mean? And but they always look a bit fishy because it's like, why are you still in a remand prison? Do you know what I'm saying? You're meant to go to a sentence because they might be comfortable there, or sometimes they might get a job. And somehow they're able to stay, or they might have a medical hold, and they're able to stay. But once you get sentenced, you get allocated a prison. After that.
And then so once you get moved from a remand prison to a sentence prison, what's that like? I take it that's not 23 and 1, right? That's
like, so you might it might be 20 hours bang up. So
20 hours.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Which is decent.
That's decent.
yeah.
Can you imagine being in your room for 20 hours?
That's mad. It's nuts, but you just like, when you're in that world, you adapt to it.
Yeah.
But like, so you might get an hour out in the morning to shower, clean your cell, and then might do movements so people would go to work, whatever. And then you lock back up, and then association might be 2 hours, and you might get 1 hour in the exercise yard, something like that. So you have like about 4 hours, which is quite good.
That's quite good. Yeah. Okay. And in terms of jobs, what kind of jobs can you get in prison? I know you can like do the kitchen stuff.
Prisoners do everything in jail.
Literally everything.
Yeah, that's what people, not a lot of people understand here, but prisoners cook the food, serve the food, clean the landings, paint the landings. The only things we don't do is things that require tools, like, you know, the pipes or like plumbing or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like a prisoner will have a job, he'll pay about £15 a week, like to clean the landings or whatever. But there's also like workshop jobs. So this is how prisons make money. So they'll get a contract from, let's say, for example, B&Q, like to make the things that they sell. And they'll have a contract with the prison. But the prison will pay you like £15 a week, but they're obviously making a lot more money. That's how they smash it. Do you know what I mean? But people go out there just to get out of their cell. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's mad. And that's got, so like, obviously there's like, when you work out in the outside world, there's like minimum wage, right? There's a certain amount. Obviously £15 a week is much lower than minimum wage, but what, because you're a prisoner, those rules don't apply to you.
Well, like at one point it was like I was getting paid like £8 a week as a cleaner. Do you know what I mean? And the wages are silly, but you want to get out your cell, innit? Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like,
so that time that you were supposed to be spending, so let's say it's 20 hours in the cell and 4 hours out, you can cut down that 20 hours by going to work and workshops and all that stuff.
So everything might start around 8:30.
Sorry. You good?
And then everything might start around 8:30, but say you go to work at 8:30, you come back for lunch. Lunchtime is around 12 o'clock. So if you got a job, you're out from 8:30 till lunch, innit? Do you know what I mean? You bang up for lunchtime, everyone, because then the screws are going to have their lunch or whatever. And then after that, about 1 o'clock, 1:30, depends on what prison or the regime or whatever, then you can be out again until like 5 or whenever the bang up time is, like, but you're working. Do you know what I mean? And then you might come back for association, get another hour out. Yeah.
Cool. And another question I had, is what happens in jail when someone who's a bit more high profile comes into the prison? So let's say a rapper or anyone who watches this podcast, like we talk a lot about football. So like Benjamin Mendy's on remand right now. He plays for Man City. What happens?
Yeah, the mad case, isn't it?
Yeah, he's got a mad thing.
He's in trouble.
Yeah,
he's in trouble.
He's in trouble for real.
If it's proven that he did what he said he did, but
Because of what the crime was.
Yeah.
That's why he's in trouble.
Any type of nonce crime, rape, paedophilia, you're in trouble. You're in trouble.
You're going to get dealt with the other prisoners.
So would they put you... Obviously, I'm guessing the prison know that, but they will still put you in the same...
Nah, so...
Or are you separated?
They will give you a choice, like, do you want to go on the VP wing, which is like vulnerable prisoner?
Okay.
So like, but then you're around creatures, do you know what I mean? That's the wing that you're on.
When you say creatures, what do you mean by creatures?
Like the worst of the worst nonces, like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, and then sometimes they slip through and they're like, you know, I'm in for GBH, or I'm in for like selling drugs, and then a screw might come round and tell you like, my man, he done this,
and then that's
and that's him, finished,
And
so you get dealt with properly. But if you're high profile, depends on where you are, depends on how you are, like, because you could get kidnapped or whatever and told to send peas.
Right,
or if you're just cool,
then it's fun.
It could be alright. Do you know? It just depends on who you are. I was on the wing with the owner of Like a Mobile. Do you know what I mean?
Swear.
He's like a billionaire. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I think he was on some fraud thing. He got like 8 years or something like that. But this was like 2016.
Yeah.
And nobody grabbed him. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody did that.
Is it because he's just cool? Was he just cool? So everyone just let him
How did you know that was him? Did he say?
Screw said it.
Oh, the Screw.
Okay. He said it like, well, he didn't, like, no one spoke to him. He's like a kind of oldish age Indian guy.
And he's just like, minding his business.
Minding his business. Yeah, he was on dialysis as well. So like, he was quite sick.
Right.
So it's like, you can't really do that. Do you know what I'm saying? Leave him.
Okay.
So some people have it hard. Some people are alright. Like, you know, big faces that go there and they're alright.
Yeah. Because I don't know. I just feel like if you're a high profile person, like, people might want to test you or like get points off of you and say, oh, I did this to my man who's rapping about X thing and he come on the wing and I did X to him or whatever. So I feel like it could be quite techie.
It's happened to quite a few high profile rappers.
Yeah.
I don't want to say any names.
Nothing like that. What's you can speak about what happened though?
We
won't put you under that kind of pressure.
No, it is because they know, like, do you know what I'm saying?
They'll know
and then people in the prison population know what's happened to who. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
But then there's also people that are high profile that come prison and they kept that energy, like the energy they had on the street. They keep it in jail, and you know, people around them, and you know, it's all right, kind of thing.
Yeah. Interesting, very, very interesting. And then, kind of, do they come out of prison and still have that same persona? So like, let's just say you come into prison, you're a rapper who raps about certain things, you get tested, everyone knows about it. Do you come out of prison and do they keep that same energy, or do you feel like they might change?
I think some people have been humbled. 100%.
Right, okay.
He said that with confidence, you know. He said that with confidence. He said, you come a certain way and they're going.
I think you could easily get humbled in jail. Even like, because I think a lot of people in the end, like, you're bad in your ends, and then you come to jail, and then it's not, do you know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't got your guys with you, or, you know, you just ain't got that same energy. But some people do keep that energy up, do you know what I'm saying? But it just depends, bro, because you can get, like, if you're being fuckery, like, down south, like, London ways, they might send you up north. And then them scousers will deal with you differently, do you know what I'm saying? Like, because they're not idiots, do you know what I mean? So if you think you're bad up there, but they don't know who you are and they're not rating your team, you're by yourself,
you're finished.
You can get dealt with as well. And it's not always a fist up team. You can get hot watered, you can get chopped up, you can get you know what I mean? Like,
So that's one thing you touch on your podcast, and a question that I thought was interesting when you ask your guests about what's the worst injury you've seen in jail. Because I feel like sometimes, especially like youth, they think of going to jail as like a badge of honor or like an exciting place to go or whatever. Because sometimes, like, you see on Snapchat, people have got their phones and their clothes and food and all of that kind of stuff. But then you talk about some of the mad injuries that you can get, like getting hot water. So can you just explain a little bit about what getting hot watered is? So it's just like boiling the kettle, and then I think you even talked about, like, do people put like sugar in it or like oil in it and these kind of things?
Bro, so the most basic hot water is just hot water.
Right,
you know, and then sometimes it scars, sometimes it doesn't. Like, But what serious people would do is like they will put a bit of oil in there and they'll put some sugar in so it sticks. So when that hot water goes on your face, it's like you're like naturally doing that, but your skin's coming off with you because it sticks, innit? Do you know what I'm saying? And it's like, you can imagine hot sugar.
Yeah.
But they boil it for time, and you're finished basically. Once that goes on you, that's you for life. It's like first degree burns or something.
Oh my days.
I asked that question because it is a deterrent. Because some man probably think like, and you know the people that would do it, like, you see if you're that guy in the wing, you won't necessarily hot water someone yourself. You'd pay some little cat, like a 50 shot of spice or something like that. And then you'd be sat down eating your food, and then you just get a hot water dashed in your face, and the cat would just go and bang up in his cell. You can't get to him, but you're finished, and you have to go to hospital now, and then you're not going to be able to even. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, bro, it is a deterrent, I think, because people think you can come to jail and just, you know, but then it gets serious. But like, there's different categories in jail. So you got like, if you're under 10 years, you go to a category C.
Okay.
Once you're sentenced. If you're over 10 years, you go to a category B or a category A.
Okay.
And in them jails, it's just a different type of work.
What, the A and the B?
Yeah.
Compared to the C?
Yeah, compared to the C.
As in the violence.
What,
the violence, yeah.
Oh, the violence. Is it a big jump?
It's a big jump, yeah, because it's mainly lifers and high.
Nothing to lose.
Nothing really to lose. But then a lot of people, most of the rappers that you've heard or whatever has got like under 10 years and they've gone to a sea cat and they've survived it and they're like, yeah, do you know what I'm saying? But you haven't been in the trenches yet. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, once you go to them places, like the works is different. You hear about man getting killed and like murdered in their cell, and the type of torture sometimes that man will get, like, is horrible. You know what I'm saying? And that wouldn't really, you don't really hear about it that much in sea cats. Like, you might hear about a few choppings or whatever, but in like a B cat or any high securities, it's just different. You gotta be.
So how does the prison deal with that? So like, let's just say I'm bunked up with someone and I see them get killed or I see them get stabbed in the face or whatever. Obviously, it's traumatic. Like, it's a very traumatic experience, right? So like, how does the prison deal with that, or do we just go on like this is normal here?
Bro, one time I saw someone get chopped in his face, in Pentonville, you got chopped in his face. He ran out the shower, claret everywhere on the floor and that, and then they just took him to the nursing place and they got a cleaner to clean up the blood and carried on social. Like, they didn't even stop it. Some jails are like, it's just so normal, like the violence and that it is just normal, innit? And you have to see them things if you're doing a long time. I'm saying it, although it is traumatic.
So a question for me is like, it's a hard one, because how do you carry yourself from day one when you step into the prison? Is there a way that you need to carry yourself as a person when you first walk in? Say someone that's never been to prison and all of a sudden you've got hit, I don't know, 10 years, 8 years. Now this is your first day in prison. Is there a way that you should carry yourself, and how do you make friends, or you want to make friends rather than enemies in there?
I'd say like, be yourself.
Yeah.
Like, be humble. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, if a man violates you, it's in your human nature to defend yourself.
Of course, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't go into like I wouldn't say go into a wing like and then start moving mad, like, do you know what I mean?
Because that's what people think. They think when I go to prison, I need to act something that I'm not and become this strong, violent, superhuman person that you're not. And then all of a sudden, like you said,
you get
quickly enough, you'll get humbled straight away.
You get found, man.
Yeah.
100%. Like, when I first went jail, like when I was a young offender, way back, like I had that mentality, like find the biggest guy in the wing and bang him.
Yeah. That's what you see in the movies.
That's what I'm saying. That's what people don't understand. That's what they feel like, even if it's not you outside of there, now all of a sudden you got to pretend to be this. I've got to show my presence. Little do you know.
You can like, bro, because trust me, bro, like the violence in certain jails is different. So, you can come on and think like that, but you're coming to prison, you don't even know how to make a shank yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know certain things, like, do you know what I mean? So you might come into prison and think, yeah, I'm just gonna start banging, man, or whatever. Yeah. But don't get twisted. Like, some people like, right, he's game, he's about it, like, do you know what I mean? But say you did it to the wrong person,
it's gonna be long for you.
Like, you'd wake up in the morning, you know, because you're new to prison, innit? So you're waking up, you're just drying your eyes, I mean, you know, rubbing your eyes, and then somebody's on top of you, just chopping you up, like, do you know what I'm saying? And you're just thinking, I had an argument yesterday.
Yeah, you think
I
it's calm.
stuck it on him. Yeah. But that guy, he's ruminating in his cell, like, he's thinking, as soon as them doors open, I'm in there.
He's
like,
not even sleeping.
Because man will do it tactical. If you can't go one-on-one, man will do it tactical. Try to get you when you're in the shower. Do you know what I mean? When you're just slipping, like, get you while you're half asleep in bed, get you while you're in a dinner queue. Like, there's different ways, innit? Like, you know. So I wouldn't say, like, when you come onto a wing, I wouldn't say come on thinking you're that guy, because if someone does stick it on you, no one's gonna defend your thing, because that's your profile, innit? Do you know what I'm saying? But if you came on like humble, like a good brother, then man would be like, right, don't do that, bro. He's a good you. Don't try and, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So there's morals.
Of course, there's morals. Yeah.
Some people think they think it's like a free for all. For the people that don't know and that haven't been or nothing, they think it's like you go in there and it's like these man.
There's more morals in there than there is out here.
Okay.
Because that's what man. That's what's respected in jail. Like morals, saying thank you. You know. Talking to people with respect, because you get that like respect back kind of thing, and you have morals, and that's how you should. That's how it is in jail, basically. A lot of people are quite respectful. I'd say more in the high securities, like the B cats and A cats, you know. But then when it gets peak, it just really gets peak.
Yeah, it goes. It could go either direction. Yeah, that's mad. Because like I said, people from the outside, they look in, they think,
there's a jungle in there.
Yeah, it's like these men are doing that, man. They don't understand. They can't speak properly, can't do nothing. But like you said, little do they know, they've probably got better respect than the people on the outside.
Yeah. A lot of respect, bro. There's a lot of respect if you can carry yourself well, and you know you won't really get invited unless you're like doing things like, you might be a humble guy, but say you're a humble guy, but you're smashing the parcels, which means like you're getting all the drugs in, and but you're not brocking man off, you're not giving nothing to anyone. Yeah, you can get robbed, and like it would be like, right, you was doing your thing, you wasn't busting a man them, like you can definitely get robbed. You know what I mean? Even if you are humble, you need to like.
It's a balance.
Yeah, bro.
So just touch on that. That was actually going to be my next question. Is like, you talked about the parcels, so people are bringing drugs into the prison. So like, what's the black market of prison like? Because obviously people have phones in there, people do drugs, like people that make alcohol and these kind of things. So like, what is that all like? Because I've heard like stories about like how phones, like these little phones, are like £400 or £500 in jail and all of these kind of things. So like, can you touch on like what that's like?
Yeah, so you got like the little Zancos, the little phones.
Yeah.
You got smartphones, they're like harder to get, obviously. Then you've got tobaccos now on the black market, because they stopped selling tobacco in 2016, I think.
Right.
Spice. You got obviously white and B, but not so much since the spice came. Weed. Yeah, like just those things really. Do you know what I mean?
And they're like obviously way more expensive than they would be out if you.
Of course, yeah. When I was just before I left last year, I don't know. Then you guys smoke. Do you know what like a 25 gram of tobacco is?
Yeah. I don't smoke, but I know.
I don't smoke either. But I know. Yeah.
So it's like 25 gram. That was going for £300 or £400. 50 gram was going for £600. You know what I mean? But then when I went home and I spoke to my brethren, and he was like, because there was weed on the wing, but there was no burn.
Right.
So a 50 gram pack went for £2,000, like a 50 gram pack, which would be like, I don't know, like £20 out here, but it went for £2,000.
Oh
because
my
Because of Corona, there was no visits, so no way to get past it. So if you got it in somehow, maybe through a screw, then you just charge top price for it. It's like what you're willing to pay, really. Do you know what I mean? For a bit of comfort.
So that's the thing, that takes me back to what you talked about when you said you had a job and you was getting £8 a week. So how does a man afford $2,000 to spend on tobacco?
There's two different types of money in jail. Yeah. So So that £7 or £15 or whatever that you get a week from working, yeah, that will go into your books. Right. And you spend it on canteen. You're allowed out of your own personal money. Say your family sending money to you. Say they're sending £1,000 into your account. Right. You're only allowed £15. So let's just say, let you guys understand. Say someone sent me £1,000. Mm-hmm. Every week, £15 would roll onto your current account. So you can spend it, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And let's just say whatever you were sent, you can't spend it. It's just there, innit? But you're only allowed to spend, if you're a normal prisoner, £15. If you're basic, I think it's £3.50. And if you're enhanced, it's £25. You could spend that at that. And then whatever you earn from the job, say it's £15, you get it on top. So you might be able to spend £40 a week. But that's prison money.
Yeah.
That's different. Obviously, outside, if you got people, send this to this person, transfer this money to that person. It's two different types of monies, but you know what I'm saying? You don't spend it with your actual prison money. Like,
okay.
And the things cost normal amounts in prison. So like if you want to buy, because obviously you can buy like food from your canteen and all of these things, are they just normal prices or are they like a bit cheaper? Because like if you're on basic and you're on £3.50 a week, like how are you supposed to survive on that?
Because bro, like, out of that £15, it's credit as well, like so.
Oh, like for your phone, yeah.
And I think it's the rates are ridiculous as well. So it's like, say you get £15, so you ain't got a job and you get £15. It's like you might put £7 on credit because you ain't got a phone. This is an incentive to buy mobile phones as well. Like, but you put like £7 in your credit and the rest is to go on like maybe your toiletries, like your soap or whatever, unless you want to use the prison soap. And then you might want some tunas and that. If you don't like the prison food, you might want to cook up your tunas and your mackerels and that, or your noodles, your oats or whatever. So you like spend your money on that stuff. You know what I mean?
Oh man, this is mad. Yeah. Which then brings me like round to the question of, do you think prisons are there to like rehabilitate people, to stop them like, you know, committing crime in society and actually come out and do good things? Or are they there to just, like you say, make money, do contracts with these companies for you guys to work and make profit off of you, or just to like break people? Because like trying to survive in an environment where you might be a basic prisoner who's on 350, there's bare violence going on around you, like it might be corona, so you can't have visits and all these things. So like, long story short, do you think prison is a place where they're actually trying to rehabilitate people?
Nah. Because like, bro, it's just common sense, and I don't understand why the government hasn't picked up on it, bro. Like, you have two different types of people, yeah. You've got people that, I don't know if you got beats when you was younger, yeah. Yeah. But some, but you get some people that respond well to punishment, so you get a licks and then you're just not gonna do that again. Yeah. But then you got some people that get a licks and then they'll get smarter and then try not to get clocked next time. And, do you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, detention, and they was probably getting gassed off detention and things like that. Punishment that didn't really work. Do you know what I mean? So I think most antisocial people, won't respond well to punishment. So if you lock someone in the cell around other like-minded people, and then some cases man feel violated by the officers, your rights are taken, it's just getting you more angry. There's no rehabilitation. It's just violation. Sometimes it's like it's freezing, the heating's not on. It's hot, the heating's on. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's things that they do, and it's like and then you're getting into fights, and then you're becoming more hardened. Do you know what I'm saying? How is that? Like, once you come out years later, how is that gonna? How does that rehabilitate somebody? Don't get me wrong. Some man will go jail, like the man them that got beats and they never did it again. They will go jail and never go there again because they're like, right, I'm just terrified of that.
But like you said, it doesn't work for everyone.
Doesn't work for everyone.
Yeah, it doesn't work for everyone.
There's prison, I think it's Norway or like them places, where it's like a holiday camp. Yeah. But I hate that word holiday camp. I'm going to get onto that, but it's like a holiday camp because like they give you basically everything, but you're still locked up. You ain't got your liberty, but you know, they deal with you like a human being. They help you. They set you up for work outside and things like that. And their reoffending rate is the lowest in the world. Do you know what I'm saying? And then you've got America, England, that are still doing this, like just lock them up and throw the key away, and then let's just hope for the best kind of thing.
It clicks.
Yeah, but it doesn't, because we've got the most life is in the whole of Europe. Do you know what I'm saying? Like we've got like, basically just doesn't work, innit? If we put money and time into like rehabilitating people, dealing with them like they're human beings, showing them different ways, then it would work better. Car, you know, and onto the holiday camp thing. It's like, all right, give yourself a PS4 with internet, not PS4, PS5 now, with internet, laptop, all of the good things, even a phone and everything, and then just stay in your yard. No, you're not allowed to see no one. You're not allowed to fuck your girl. You're not allowed to do none of these things, and you know, go out in your back garden for an hour a day and just do that for 6 months and see if that's a holiday camp. Do you know what I'm saying? Because prison is not meant to be. The punishment is losing your liberty, bro. Yeah. So imagine you ain't got no freedom. You can't just pick yourself up and go shop. You can't do nothing what you might enjoy doing. Yeah. You're just locked up with your thoughts, and that's the punishment. To punish someone further than that, it just doesn't make sense to me. You're just making that person worse. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So when people are like, oh, well, they're allowed Xboxes or whatever, because you're allowed Xbox 360 in there. Right. And obviously no internet or nothing like that, but you're allowed these things in jail. And they're like, oh, they give them Xbox 360 and things like that. But so what? Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm in my cell 23 hours a day or 20 hours a day. You know, you got Xbox, whatever, but like, you've got loved ones out there that miss you. Like, that fucks up your head, bro. Like, you know, you might have, there's a lot of people, they got youths, and they're not being able to see their youths grow up. They're not being able to see their youths achieve things, or family members and things like that. So that is the actual punishment. People forget, like, because, do you know, and it's partly the prisoners' fault, because a lot of prisoners would make videos like, I'm in here living good, but bro, after that video, they're not happy. Do you know what I'm saying?
Facts, though.
Yeah,
facts.
You just can't be happy in there, unless you didn't have a life before that. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's a big thing about perception, right? Like, you talk about, like, you see it in the newspapers, isn't it? Like, the Sun, and that will be like, prisoners playing Xbox on Christmas Day, like shit like that. It's just like, and
exactly.
Like, they're human beings. Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. Like, it tries. I feel like prisoners and like what happens with, like, you know, your rights and stuff when you come out of prison, all that. It tries to like dehumanize you because you done a crime. But it's just like you say, the punishment is going to prison. I've served my time, and that's it. Like, we move on.
Yeah. Help that person, innit? Like, help him use energy elsewhere. Like, you know, rather than like, because you come out of jail and then you go into probation, and then you got to tell probation everything. They got to know where you're going, what car you're getting into. Certain prisoners, anyway.
What's your thoughts on that? When like that probation period, that they got to report to someone constantly. What is like?
I think you know, probation. I can't be against probation, because probation is the reason why you do half of your sentence. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So like, say for example, I got a 10. 5 years inside, I'm doing 5 years outside. So every so often, I've got to see my probation officer and tell him, you know, they might drug test me, see if I'm smoking, or whatever, like, or drinking, like, or whatever. And, you know, is there any police reports? So I do agree with probation in a sense where they're letting you serve your time, half of your time outside, but you've just got to keep reporting and stuff. But then you got some fucking probation officers that don't like you, and they'll recall you for missing an appointment or something like that. Oh, no. I'm saying, like my co-D right now, he's back inside, and we both did the same time, but because he had the amateur probation officer, they recalled him for something minor, and he's back in. Like, and he's, God. Yeah, and like, you know, after that amount of time, coming out for a bit and going, like, it's fuckery.
That's even worse,
So what happens when you get recalled? So let's say you're on probation, you mess up, they send you back, or you don't even mess up, like you say, you have a rookie probation officer and they send you back in. Is there like a process for you to then be re-released after a certain amount of time, or do you have to finish your sentence now you've been recalled?
No. There's parole after that, innit? But the peak thing is like for example, my co-D, they recalled him for something that was so silly that the police NFA'd it, that no further action, so there was no charge, nothing like that. But he's now got to wait on a parole board. So he's been in for the past, 5-6 months. And then now, he's got to wait for his parole, which might be in the next few months. And then once he gets his decision, then they give him a date when he can get released. If you're a lifer, when you get recalled, you have to wait 2 years before your first parole. Or IPP and things like this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, it's just, bro. And then each time a man goes to prison, it's more the taxpayers' money. This is what I'm saying. It's a business, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? They want you back in the, and they want to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So like, I've even like done my kind of like research and stuff like this. Like they're starting to bring like private prisons into the UK, which are like companies will own the prisons and are trying to make a profit off of making sure the prisons are filled and there's certain quotas and all these things. So it's a lot deeper than people think it is.
Why do you think why would you privatize a prison unless there's money in it?
That makes no sense.
Like I was in through private jails.
Oh really?
Yeah.
And is there a difference between private jails and government jails?
Yeah.
What's the difference?
I would say private jails spend more money on their jails. So
okay.
It's newer.
Okay.
The establishments are newer. Facilities are probably a bit better.
Right.
Yeah, but they're profiting. So.
Yeah.
Who would go to a private jail? Like, and who decides to like for them to go there? Is there like a certain thing or
like? So
is there a way that they would choose? Okay, he can go to a private jail. He can't.
No, it's just like it's wherever you're allocated.
Okay,
like,
so
do you know what I mean? Yeah.
No.
But once you are in the private sector, like say you make it there, like, do you know what I mean? Then
you make it to the big leagues.
Yeah, because the private jails,
it's a bit nicer.
It's a bit nice because like obviously the public jails, which is just HMP prisons, they're like rat infested, cockroach infested. They're not spending their money on the prisons. You know what I mean? But the private jails, because they're under pressure and they're private contracts, it's not owned by the government. They have to keep up because they will get audited and things like this.
Okay.
And so they've got to keep up to the standard. But like, the normal, they might get fined for things they're not doing. They'll pay the fine because it's the taxpayers' money. But obviously with the private companies, it's their money. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's mad, isn't it?
That's so mad. So one thing you touched on just like briefly before is about IPP, which is something that's not, that they've scrapped IPP now, haven't they? But do you want to touch a little bit about what IPP is? Because we were talking about it before because you didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
But do you want to touch on it a little bit about what it is?
IPP is just fuckery.
That's simple.
Literally.
IPP fuckery, car. It's called in protection for the public. But like you have to come across the man them that are doing IPP to know how fuckery it is, you know what I'm saying? Because like IPP got scrapped in 2012 because of how fuckery it was. Yeah. But this man's still in there in 2021 now, like still on IPP. So before, I might be wrong, no one quote me, but it was like, I think they was doing like a 2 or 3 strike thing. So if you got nicked for the same thing 3 times or something like that, more time you're IPP. Or if it's a serious offence, they might give you IPP. Right. And IPP is like, you can get, so for example, I know someone that was, no word of a lie, he did 2 street robberies in 2007. He's my age. So he did 2 street robberies in 2007, like where he robbed mobile phones, them little things.
Yeah.
And he's in jail today, bro. He had a 2-year IPP. I think it was a 1.5 or 2-year IPP. And he's still in here today, bro, because the whole parole process, you can't get. And people like I put up a video of someone that I recorded that was, he was doing IPP, but what was it? I think it was 4 years IPP. He's been in 15 years. But people are like, just keep your head down. And, just do the courses and you're not rehabilitating yourself. But you have to understand, when you have not got a release date and you're around savages, and you have to understand where your mentality is gonna go. Like, you've been violated by screws and things like this. So this is the environment you're in. So you adapt to that environment, and then you start to become a lot more anti. Like it's like caging a dog. and poking it for time and then expecting it to come out like good, normally behaved.
Not gonna bite no one or nothing. Just gonna be calm.
So just to expand on the IPP, so from what just did a little bit of reading earlier, from what I understand of it, it's basically you're gonna serve a minimum amount. So if you've got 3 years IPP, you're gonna serve a minimum of 3 years. But after that, they're gonna assess your risk to see if you're allowed to go back into the public.
Is there a certain time that do they like assess you every 3 months, every year,
2
or
years.
Every 2 years you get assessed?
For IPP, because they're classed as lifers, so they will get their parole every 2 years. I think in some special occasions you can get it brought forward or whatever, but it's every 2 years. So this is why they're stuck so long. So, you know, I don't really know much IPPs that they've done their tariff. So like say it's 4 years, they've done their 4 years and they get out on the 4 years. I don't know many because like they'll be like, well, it's IPP, we'll knock back this parole, and then you got to wait another 2 years for the next parole. But then in that 2 years, you know, a Fed might have smelt weed coming from your cell, or like, you know, or they might have seen you around the wrong crowd, and it's called like a IR, it's an intelligence report, something like that, and they'll write it in your file and that. And the parole board will look at it. Well, he's been hanging around the wrong crowd, and they smell weed coming from his cell. It might be next door cell, you know, or it might be your cellmate or something like that. And they'll be like, nah, your parole's not back, so you wait again, and then you don't have how do you expect these people to behave? How would you behave? Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
there's nothing to work towards. There's nothing really to do.
But don't get twisted. Some people that I've even interviewed myself, they come out like a couple years after the IPP. You know,
but still, that's still wrong though, because I've served my time, innit? If you give me a 4-year sentence,
what's more wrong is it's been scrapped.
Yeah.
So why are man still getting recalled? Like, say man have come out from IPP, why are they still getting recalled? Like for a license that don't exist? Why are people still in jail?
Something that doesn't even exist anymore. That's
exactly.
Mad.
Tiny Boost, who's like part of like Giggs' camp, he put a tweet out saying like he's gonna be on probation for like the rest of his life, 99 years. So he has to report to someone until he dies, basically. Almost that.
Well,
not necessarily.
Not necessarily, because I think after 10 years, I think it is 10 years. Don't quote me on that either, but I'm just going in the memory bank. But I think after 10 years, you can do something, and if you've just been greatly behaved in the outside, I think you can get rid of the license. Do you know what I mean? I think so. Right. But there is I know you can do that, but it's like, I don't know how long. I think it's 10 years of being behaved.
One thing I wanted to touch on and kind of segue onto the kind of film and movie that you're doing is about joint enterprise.
Very important.
Something that me and him were talking about, and it kind of leads to what you were saying at the beginning about kind of anyone can go jail, and it's not just this person who's like a savage who's on the streets moving super reckless. You can kind of just be in the wrong place at the wrong time, get caught in a joint enterprise, and now you're in prison. So do you want to just like kind of explain what joint enterprise is?
Fuckery. Again, joint enterprise is mad, like, but that's why I'm doing the movie, because Be a Man don't know about joint enterprise. A lot of people don't know about joint enterprise. One of my nieces was like, she had learnt about joint enterprise in citizenship in school, which is good.
Sick.
Because like, we wasn't taught about it or nothing like that. But basically, basically what it is say us three go to a party, and, you know, let's say, you know, you got good friends and bad friends, you know what I'm saying? But I've got it on me, whatever. Somebody steps on my trainers, and then I soak him up, and he drops out. Yeah. They would be like, they might look at the CCTV from you guys all being together that day, and know that you guys are a clique anyways, or you hang around with each other, whatever. You guys have got no intention of murder. I might not have had intention of murder, but I just carry something. Do you know what I'm saying?
Just in case,
the prosecution would do is like say that you guys knew he had a weapon on him, and had foresight to what was about to happen. Do you know what I'm saying? And you didn't stop it, and you didn't do anything. So you are just as guilty as the other man. So I've got an example, a few of my brethren that got life, they was like 8 of them, and they was going to a party, and then they was riding out as well after the party or something like that. And then 3 of them are super active. The rest of them just wanted to party, basically. So 3 men jumped out the car, caught this youth and stabbed him up and killed him. The rest of them didn't jump out of the car. Long story short, a few of them bust case, but then one of them that even thought I would snitch, like I'm going to snitch, I did not jump out the car. Him jumped out the car. He got found guilty on the joint enterprise. So even though he snitched, it was like, well, you was there. You knew he had a nank, and he got 18 years, do you know what I'm saying? And like, basically, there's another mad story, like, where a cab driver, but he was doing the lift off the books, and then he stopped while the kids has jumped out. They've gone into the shop. They've seen an op in the shop, soaked him up in there, and went back into the cab. Cabman's none the wiser. Cabman was my next door in Belmarsh, bro. Joint enterprise,
No way.
Bro,
how long did he get?
I don't know.
My god.
I don't know what he got.
So,
But
what is he getting done for?
Murder.
They're saying that he was involved.
He drove them there.
Yeah, basically.
So you get like murder. You don't have to do it like. So have you? I don't know if you've seen that rapper that I put up on my on my YouTube.
Yeah.
Like he.
What's his name?
Doesn't.
I don't put his name.
Okay.
He's still doing life.
Okay.
He's on his way out, but he has been in since before his GCSEs, and you know. I don't know if it was like this for you guys, but when we was in school, you might have school fights, so you might go to... And then, something happened, and then, you know, he had nothing to do with it. He was just there, and then he got a life sentence as well. So, like, just for being there from school.
From school?
From school, he's still in now,
Oh, my days.
So that's why it's so important that I do the movie. I've started a GoFundMe on it. Do you know what I mean? Because I've done a few. I'll show you guys the scenes after. I've done a few scenes, but the budget's run out. Do you know what I mean? So I think.
We'll put the link up on our page and all of that as well. We'll push that for you as well, bro. Definitely,
I appreciate it because I think once kids know, like, because you know, back in the days, your mum or whoever raised you might have told you, like, don't hang out with the wrong crowd. But don't hang out with the wrong crowd.
No, it's actually true when you think about it now. I knew of it, but I didn't realize it was literally like that in terms of like, if you're there, if that's your bridging and you're just there, even though you had no idea or nothing, you're getting done as well.
Yeah. No, but the thing is, I think they've changed the law slightly in 2016. Everyone thought it was scrapped, but it wasn't. They've changed it slightly. But like, it's just a case of like, because you can still like, it's not to say 100% of people that was there at the murder is going to get found. But then the prosecution, because he wants to win the case as well, he's going to say to the jury, like, he had foresight and he knew, and then now your life is in the jury's hand and you might have not had a clue. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's just best not to put yourself in that position. Don't take the risk, because like you said, if they're there, they're gonna try and take you down as well. So it's mad, isn't it? How parents will say that when you was kids, but now when you think about it,
it's so important.
It's mad. It's actually, don't actually do it. Don't hang around with the wrong crowd, because if you're with the wrong crowd, all you got to be, like you said, is just be there. Not even know what's about to happen. You're having a good time.
Don't be a half gangster. Like, that's what I would say. Like, if you're in it,
go all the way. Go
all the way. I'm not saying you should go all the way. You should be in it. But I'm saying, if you are actually trying to be about that, don't do it for the image or to be cool. If that's what you're about, understand the consequences. Understand that when it goes down, you could be doing the rest of your life in here. But if you're a bit iffy about it, just leave it, because like when it comes down to it, you're either going to be called a snitch, because this, like I told you, this guy, he snitched, bro, and he's still got an L plate. So now he's doing the rest of his life with a snitch on top of his forehead. Like he's finished. And you're in jail. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, because a lot of people like, well, I won't snitch, but you know, when you and I do not condone snitching whatsoever. But when you're in that position, because I've been around beer man that's been in that position, like being in Belmarsh, a lot of man my age at the time and younger, all you're thinking about is, you might be 20, all you're thinking about is, right, I'm coming out when I'm 45, 50, da-da-da-da-da. Like, that's when you start to think to yourself, you know what, fuck the roads, I'm snitching, da-da-da-da-da. They might think like that, do you know what I'm saying? And it's like, bro, what's the point, man? Just do what you're good at, do you know what I mean? Like, and just leave it, because,
What about speaking to like young kids? Do you speak to young people out there that like are on the roads or anything like that? Do you share that kind of information with them? Do you pass on that kind of information, or do you?
I've spoken to a couple people, but like I told you before, I'm proper introverted. I'm not a speaker. I'm not a public speaker. What I like to do is these interviews. So so you can see real guys, their story, different walks of life. And then you could either learn from that or not. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not a preacher. I was in the same circumstance. When I was younger, I thought, all I can do is trap. All I can do is this, that. Like, I didn't really have the mind that I do now, innit? So I'm not going to preach to anyone that might be in bad circumstances that feel like, right, all they can do is trap. Like, they can figure out for themselves. But if you watch the podcasts that I do, and then you're hearing the man them, and these are guys that are official, certified. They've done things that you've never done. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you can learn from that if you got sense. Do you know what I'm saying? Or not.
If that doesn't open your eyes,
because what is the end goal? Say you're a trapper, what is the end goal? Because